Hey guys, still Rain coming back at you with my Group 2 continuous current Lipo discharge review. I'm going to be using my rig I used last time, which is each bulb pulls about 10 amps. There's 8 bulbs altogether, and we're going to start off with the batteries in the lineup are going to be the ThunderPower Adrenaline 1300 milliamp. Then we have the ThunderPower Adrenaline 1600. We have the Tattu R-Line 95C, the Tattu R-Line 95C and 1300. The previous one was 1550. Then we have the Rebel no discharge rating 1580 milliamp hour. Then the Rebel 1360 milliamp hour. The new Infinity 1500 milliamp race spec force Graphene edition ADC to 110C, and the Indestructible Quads gold label high voltage 85C 1500 milliamp, and both the ThunderPower Adrenalines are both ADC discharge rated. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Before we get started here, guys, I'd like to say that this is going to be a dynamic 80 amp discharge current test. So as the voltage of the battery drops, so does the amperage, and it'll drop down to about mid to low 70s. And I'd also like to say that I've bought all these batteries with my own money, with the exception of the high voltage gold label from Indestructible Quads. I'd like to thank them for sending that in for review. And with that, we'll go ahead and get started. Okay guys, the first battery in the test is going to be the ThunderPower Adrenaline ADC 1600. And just to reiterate from my first Group 1 testing, the 1500 and above lipos will go down to 14 volts under load, and the 1300 series will go down to 13.5 volts under load, just because 80 amps is so high it just knocks them under 14 volts pretty quickly. So here we go. Here goes the first burst. There's 14 volts. Always let it rebound here for about 20-30 seconds. Once the battery stabilizes and stops rebounding, then we'll go ahead and hit it again. Seems like that's it for rebound. Go ahead and hit it again. $14. I do apologize in advance. This is going to be a pretty long test, you know, with 8 batteries and all this testing. The synopsis video is going to be coming out shortly after I release this one. Seems like it stopped rebounding. I'll hit it again. $14. Let's finish rebounding there. Hit it again. $14. pretty much I'll just keep on hitting it with the 80 amps until it can't barely be turned on for, you know, a second or so, and then the test is pretty much complete at that point. Alright, I'll hit it again. $14. Still rebounding a bit. And it seems like it's finished rebounding. Hit it again. Alright, no more rebound there. Hit it again. The bursts are getting shorter and shorter, so it's about, this test is almost done for this battery. And I'll go ahead and hit it again. Almost instantly below 14. Might have one more left in it, and we'll call this one complete. That's all the rebounding is going to do. One more time. Yeah, instantly below 14. We're going to go ahead and call the ThunderPower Adrenaline ADC 1600 complete, and get a final temperature check of the battery. And its highest temperature shown was at 148. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next. Alright, next battery is going to be the Tattu R-Line 1550 milliamp hour 95C, and we'll go ahead and get started. First one. This one's holding out a pretty long time. It's sitting at 14.15 volts. Starting to drop now. There's 14. That one had a pretty long first burst, so I don't see very many after that. There might be maybe 2 or 3 once it rebounds a little bit. I'll go ahead and do the second burst. $14. Still rebounding a bit. I think it's about done though. It's not really moving much. Hit it again. Already down to 14. Apologize in advance for the the amp meter, guys. It doesn't have very good contrast. It's like a blue on blue, so, but the clamp meter tells the story. Seems it's done there. Third burst. Yeah, instantly below 14. It's got maybe one left in it. Stop rebounding to do the fourth. Yeah, instantly below 14. So we're gonna go ahead and call the this test complete on the Tattu R-Line 1550-95, so you can get a final temperature check. So it's getting around about 150 max right now, so we'll go ahead and move on to the next battery. Alright guys, the next test is going to be the Infinity 1500 milliamp race spec 80C to 110C Racing Series Force Edition. I've been reading a lot about this lately on Facebook and how it's pretty much smashing all other batteries. I'm going to go ahead and get started with this one, see what the first burst does. Holding at 14 point. There we go. First burst. Not too bad. Still rebounding. Alright, we're going to go ahead and hit it with the second burst. Stop rebounding. Third burst. Still rebounding a bit. Alright, next burst. And next burst. 14. Stop rebounding. I'll go ahead and hit it again. 14. Yeah, it's getting close to the end. It's lasting maybe about a second. Might have maybe one or two left in it. burst. Instantly below 14. I think I'll try one more. Yeah, instantly this one's done. So we're going to go ahead and get a final temperature reading here. And its highest was 129. So we'll go ahead and call this one complete and move on to the next. The next battery in the test is going to be the Rebel 1580 milliamp hour. No discharge is given. They've chosen to go with a llama rating, which is, I guess, 5 llamas. So I guess we'll find out how good this one does. So we'll go ahead and start the first one. Here we go. Already below 14. And stop rebounding, we'll hit it again. Already below 14. Its voltage sag is massive. You can barely hold it on an 80 amp discharge for a second. Let's go ahead and try it again. Yeah. Instantly below. Go ahead and try one more time and see if that makes a difference. Sometimes batteries need to warm up. Yeah. It's almost going all the way down to 13 volts under an 80 amp load, so we're going to go ahead and call this one complete since it can't even stay on for a half second to a second. Get a final temperature reading. Highest temperature is at 92 degrees, and that's just because it couldn't stay on long enough to heat up enough. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next. Okay, the final battery in the 1500 milliamp series is going to be the Indestructible Quads Gold Label High Voltage. It's got an 85C discharge rating and 1500 milliamps. And once again, this is the only battery in the group that I did not purchase, had it sent in to me by Indestructible Quads, so I thank you for sending that in. First burst, here we go. It's doing pretty good, holding at 14.4. There we go, first burst. Now this is a high voltage battery, the first one I've done in any of mine. I'm also going to be doing a long-term test on this battery, and each cell was charged up to 4.35 volts. Gives it a little bit of advantage voltage wise, but it held out pretty good. Seems it stops rebounding. Go ahead and hit it with the second. It's 14 volts. rebounding. Hit it again. 14. Stop rebounding. 14. And it stopped rebounding. 14 instantly. Might have one left in it. And 14 instantly. So we're going to go ahead and call this one complete, get a final temperature check here. And its highest temperature was 139. So we'll go ahead and move on to the 1300 milliamp series batteries. Alright, the first battery we're going to test is going to be the ThunderPower Adrenaline ADC 1300 milliamp. Go ahead and get started with the first burst. Holding at 13.77, and once again for these 1300 milliamps I go down to 13.5 volts since they sag so quickly. First burst was pretty good. Had a rebound here for a second. And it's done rebounding, it seems. Go ahead and hit it with the second. Alright. It's pretty much done rebounding. Hit it with the third. Done rebounding. Almost instantly below 13.5. It might have one left in it. And it's done rebounding. One more. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and call that one complete because it's dipping down into the 12s as soon as I turn it on. Get a final temperature check here. Yeah, it's sitting pretty high, 173 degrees. I mean, that's pretty close to thermal runaway. Battery's pretty hot. So go ahead and call this one complete, move on to the next. The next battery in the testing lineup is going to be the Tattu R-Line 1300 milliamp 95C, and we'll go ahead and get started. First burst. This one's actually holding above 14.02 volts right now, but it still has a ways to go. Now it's dropping below 14. Pretty good for a 1300 milliamp. There goes the first burst. Not bad considering its size. I didn't have very good luck with the 75C R-Line, so this is a much better alternative. Alright, it's done rebounding. Go ahead and hit it again. Alright. Done rebounding there. More time. And it's going below 13.5. I think that might be it for it. Yeah, I think that's it. It's not rebounding much. It's sitting at about 13.5, so get a final temperature reading. And it was sitting at 154 at its highest. So we have one more battery left in the test. We'll go ahead and get to it. Alright, the final battery in the test is going to be the Rebel 1360 milliamp, the 5 Llama discharge rating, and we'll go ahead and see how it does. Start with the first burst. Instantly to 13.5. Just like its big brother, it instantly sags tremendously. Try the second burst. Yeah. See, I might have 1 or 2 left in it if it heats up. Try number 3. There we go. And like the third burst was better than the first two. Now the batteries got to a better operating temperature. Still rebounding. Go ahead and hit it again. Time. Stop rebounding for the most part. I don't know. Still going up a bit. Alright, hit it again. There it goes. Done rebounding. Go again. And one more time. Still might have a couple left in it. Seems like once it's up to operating a higher temperature that it's giving a bunch of small bursts. And it's done rebounding. Go again. Goes. Done rebounding. Go again. It's doing about 1.5 2-second bursts before it hits 13.5. All right, go again. Still rebounding a bit. Give it another shot. Battery's pretty warm at this point. Let me see what it's sitting at. About 143. Let's go ahead and give it another shot. Still about a second and a half bursts. It's done rebounding. Let's give it another shot. Pretty much done rebounding. Give it another shot. It's maybe got 1 or 2 left in it. Done rebounding. And it's done there. So we'll go ahead and call this one complete since it's dipping down instantly below 13.5. Get a final temperature reading. And it's sitting around 160 max. So that's going to conclude the physical test of these batteries. I'm going to go ahead and on my second video, the synopsis, get all the information together, the weight, price and everything, and the performance numbers, and go ahead and put that in a spreadsheet and give a synopsis. Thanks for watching. I know it's a long video, but you know, like they say on the internet, if it's not on video, it didn't happen. So there you go. I'll see you next time. Thank you.